It's me, your girl, Tina Marie J. I had gotten a DM from a viewer, but she was basically telling me how she's in this like phase right now, trying to understand. She is trying to see where she stands when it comes to what she believes. So it gave me a perfect idea. I was like, okay, why don't I make a video about this, talk about the different stages that you go through when you do realize that you're no longer a Christian. So in case you are new to this channel, I am an ex-Christian. I was raised in it. That was all I knew. Jesus, the Bible, all of that. I left Christianity about 2 years ago, going on 3 now, and I feel pretty damn good. I do not do labels, but if you're gonna label me, I would say I am spiritual. It keeps me grounded and gives me that peace that I always looked for in religion. If you are someone who has left Christianity, you're probably experiencing these different emotions. Some of these stages may apply to you or they may not. Please understand that everything that I am gonna tell you right now when it comes to the stages of renewal, this is all based off of my personal experience as well as the experience of other people that I have spoken to. So I wrote down 10 stages that you go through when you leave Christianity. Number 1, disconnection. Feeling unattached, not connecting to the belief system or God you've been taught to put faith in. I'll say on my personal experience what led me to leave Christianity. I first started feeling a disconnection, and it wasn't the kind of disconnection you feel when you haven't gone to church or prayed in a while and you're feeling like you're far from God. It was more a detachment from the belief system itself. I just did not feel aligned with it. It wasn't relatable to me anymore. There were just things that just did not make sense, and so I did not have that connection. So I didn't feel that warmth from Christianity that I always thought that I had felt or I always felt. Step 2, questioning. You begin to continually feel a sense of doubt and questioning. You start to wonder, well, if God is real or if Jesus really is here for us, then why does he allow this to happen? Or why is it that he doesn't intervene in these situations? Or why did I have to get baptized if he already saved me from my sins? Why am I still considered sinful? All of these different questions start to come into play and you get very curious. Stage number 3 is researching. As you become more open to the idea, you research and you dig, and you sometimes end up falling in a rabbit hole. So I did kind of fall through a rabbit hole. I kept digging and digging and digging, and at times it got so frustrating, but at times it was overwhelming for me because processing certain information could be overwhelming. That's just how I am. At times I had to take breaks, but I still did my research and I watched videos, I read articles, I went on websites, I even started reading the Bible. You may start to do your research, or you probably already started doing your research, and now you're just figuring certain things out. Stage number 4 is the logic takeover. As logic takes over slowly, it becomes increasingly difficult to return to religious thinking. You'll start thinking more with logic over faith. Things just start to shift when it comes to your thinking. You start to think more like in literal terms rather than in some biblical text. When you start to think more in a logical sense, the more you do it, the harder it is to go back to your old thinking or to the thinking of how you were taught to think. You feel like you believe more with what you see with your own eyes rather than believing just strictly by faith alone. So the idea of it really shifts. You literally feel like you're looking through a whole new lens, and it's scary at times, but this is just your brain kind of rewiring itself in a sense. Stage number 5 is realization. You begin to see that you're no longer a Christian, but saying it out loud to yourself is not yet easy. Sometimes it's also not yet possible. When I began to realize it, I would not say it out loud. I would not speak the words and say I'm not a Christian. I would just say I'm not sure what I believe. Even on YouTube, it was hard for me on this channel to even like come out and finally say, guys, I'm not a Christian anymore. I felt it for such a long time, but it took me like probably about a year to finally say it out loud. Along with that, it also took me time to admit it to myself before I finally could, you know, realize that I really am not a Christian. It's not an easy thing to do, especially when you realize it. You kind of almost want to make yourself believe otherwise. Like, you want to force yourself to believe that you are still a Christian, or there's still some hope, but then your mind is like, nah, you can't keep playing yourself. Like, come on, you know you're not a Christian. Why would you hold that title? And the next step is number 6, acceptance. Accepting the fact that you are indeed no longer a part of religion, the belief system you once had. In this time frame, you also may begin to open up publicly about it. I had to accept the fact that I was no longer a Christian, and you're going to have to accept that as well. I started to just say, you know what, it's okay. It's okay. It's okay that I don't have this belief anymore. It's okay that it hurts. It's okay that it makes me anxious, it makes me scared, it makes me relieved, it makes me feel all these different emotions. It's okay. I was probably never really a religious person. It's just my upbringing. And when you train a child to have a certain belief, their brain is soaking up all the information, and you're making them into the person they're going to be in the future. You don't know anything else. I didn't have a choice, and I had to accept that fact. Like I said before, you may start to open up to the public, whether that be your friends, your family, whoever it is. That doesn't mean that you're gonna feel comfortable, but you will begin to open up and to feel more comfortable to say it out loud. Because once you can say it to yourself, like, that's honestly the hardest part, is admitting it to yourself, because it hurts. It becomes so much easier to say it out loud, but then that's what the next step comes into. Step number 7 is relief. You begin to slowly feel the weight of the pressure to be living at a certain standard according to Jesus relieved. That pressure is such a relief to remove it. You start to really feel like all that weight just goes away. It starts to really diminish. It fades out, because now you don't have to hold this title. You don't have to hold this Christian label. You don't have to hold up to these standards. A lot of people who are Christian, they try to twist that and say, oh, well, yeah, because you guys want to live the way you want to live, and you want to live free and do whatever you want to do. And no, that does not mean that. Don't listen to that crap. Because they're Christian, they're going to think in their way and see things through their lens. What it is that now you're free to be you, to be your authentic, true self. You're free to just live your life. That doesn't mean you could run rampage and freaking act like a wild animal. Like, who the hell raised you? You still should have morals. You still may have some things that you personally believe, but it's not because someone told you to believe it. It's because you believe it. You just instinctively believe it. Not that you're no longer a Christian, so now you have no belief in anything, unless you're atheist. But it means that you actually can choose what to believe or what not to believe. So it's just such a relief to be able to say, okay, I don't believe, I'm not a Christian. Human, we're human, and you have that relief of knowing that you can now be human and be yourself and not have the weight of Christianity on your shoulders telling you that you have to be a certain way. Stage number 8 that you may go through is mixed emotions and fear. Fear sets in, popping in and out as you worry about relationships, friendships, family, society, and possibly hell. It's really weird because you feel the relief, but then you also start to feel like all these different emotions. Like, you feel scared, you feel excited. You may feel worried and anxious because you're afraid to tell your family, or you're afraid to tell your boyfriend or your girlfriend or your husband or your wife. It's never an easy thing telling anyone that you love and that you're close to that you don't believe in God, or that you just don't believe in religion at all, because you start to feel like, what if they don't accept me? What if they don't love me the same? Or what if they just really don't understand? And a lot of people are not going to understand, but you have to be true to yourself. Stage number 9 is peace. A new sense of peace sets in, and now you're ready to explore your true, authentic self. So you start to feel at peace with yourself. You start to feel real centered. Like, you feel much more grounded, because your anxiety and your fear, your depression, it starts to really diminish. And that's what happened with me. A lot of my anxiety subsided and even kind of really went away, and I felt so peaceful, like a different kind of peace that is hard to describe. You really have to experience it, and it's not like the type of peace that you feel when you are a part of religion. It's a whole nother type of peace. Stage number 10 is spirituality or atheism. This is the final stage, and in this stage, people tend to either continue believing in a God or creator, or they just become an atheist and don't believe in any creator or God at all. The whole idea of belief is something with little to no evidence. That is illogical at this point. So at this point in this stage, you feel like you either believe or you don't believe. Some people gravitate towards spirituality and others gravitate more towards atheism. Either direction that you go in life, if you're no longer part of religion, just allow yourself to go down the path that you feel the least resistance to. You may still have confusion. I use my logic. That's just how you start to think at this stage. And so this is the final stage of the renewal phase that you experience when you leave religion. I hope that this video has helped any of you. If you did like the video and it did help you, then give me a nice little thumbs up. And if you enjoy this type of content, let me know down in the comments if you want to see more videos about spirituality or about leaving religion and the effects and all that stuff. Make sure you subscribe and also press the bell so you can get notified anytime I do put out a video. I appreciate and love you guys all so much. I send all positivity and light your way. Enjoy the rest of your day.